A very good morning. EURUSD continues to push up higher from the overall weekly and monthly open as we expected, and has now been taking out the overall early sellers who sold here on the third trendline touch of the rejection there, with their stop loss being placed above the highs. Now these traders are now being stopped out, and I'm still expecting, as I've been mentioning since Monday morning, that EURUSD still has the potential to head up higher. As we can see, the overall order flow has been holding from the lows where we had the overall sell down before the buy up. We tap in, push up higher. Then again, we have the overall sell down before the buy up. Again, tap in, rejection of the monthly open. And again, we've been pushing up higher. Again, rejecting the overall 0.5 fib here. If you look at the 4-hour time frame as well, you can clearly see that the market retraced beautifully. There was quite some manipulation yesterday, but still expecting and looking for that higher prices on EURUSD. Just want to say a massive thank you to all the kind messages that I received yesterday. Really means a lot. And thanks again for that. Now again, this upside move here shows that we pretty much have been able to, again, make some money here on this upside push. For myself, there is still further upside potential. The overall analysis still stands where we've had a break of structure in towards the downside here. This here is your overall impulsive phase. Within that impulsive phase, where's the liquidity? The liquidity is resting above the overall descending highs here. And I'm looking for those descending highs to get taken out, and for us to push into kind of like this black line here, which is the liquidity high. And then from there, for example, look for the next downside push if we get some bearish confirmation, which would obviously happen in a market structure shift taking place, right? Because now we're still bullish, and let's say we really clearly break above this overall high. This here is then the overall low. That is then your overall, let's say, a new area of demand. And then once that demand zone fails, then you could look for an overall short position back in towards the downside. So still good to hold on to those EURUSD longs, which we've been calling all week as well. Check out the thumbnails of yesterday's and the day before's video, because I mentioned those longs there. For the rest, dollar index, guys, or excuse me, EURUSD, still bullish swing here on the daily time frame. Hence why we had the potential for us to take some intraday longs here from the weekly / monthly open, and why I still expect us to head up a little bit higher, because again, we have these very clear descending highs. And then once this high here breaks, the free monthly open breaks, then we retest, then we could have the next leg up. Now, the reason why EURUSD is pumping from a fundamental perspective, because some of you might be interested in that as well. Trump was speaking yesterday where he mentioned that Hassett is most likely going to be taking over the role of the head of the Fed. He's going to be becoming the Fed chair next year, and he is an extremely dovish individual, meaning that he wants to lower interest rates. And when you lower interest rates of a currency, that is weak for the currency, or the currency depreciates, because the overall return that you can expect to get in that country will become lower. Now, if you want more information on that, make sure to join the Discord server, link in the description there, or that is where I've dropped an entire analysis. Now, the dollar index has done exactly as I wanted. And again, guys, you only hear people when you're wrong, and you never really hear them when you're right. Again, I've been calling equal lows here yesterday. I called as well on the 1 hour time frame here that we had what? We had the internal bump in the road. We had impulse down, retracement, takes out internal liquidity, rejects monthly open, boom, pushes in towards the downside, bump in the road, internal liquidity, rejects monthly open. Here the market structure shift happened, and since then we've been selling off. So again, guys, the analysis is here. I do 90% for you. All you need to do is execute. I tell you guys, literally since Monday, dollar index has failed to put in a new higher high, meaning that this is a weak low, because if this was a strong low, it would have put in a new higher high. We simply swipe liquidity here to the left, and we start pushing back down lower again. We've left behind equal lows, so it's likely that the dollar is still going to head down lower to take that out. We look at the internal market structure. What do we see? We see internally that we are trending in towards the downside. We've had what? A impulsive phase in towards the downside, takes that bump in the road, heads down lower again. Then again, what happens? We see an initial push down, early sellers, comes back up, takes out the internal liquidity, rejects the monthly open, heads down lower again. This here is the impulse down. Where's the internal liquidity slash bump in the road within the impulse? Right over here, takes that out, rejects monthly open, boom, sells off again. So still expecting the dollar index to head down lower to take out these equal lows and take out this low as well. This low would have been stronger if it would have taken out these equal lows, but it didn't do so. Therefore, still expecting further downside here from the dollar index. As simple as that. So again, 90% is here. All you need to do is execute. Going into GBPUSD, GU has been pushing up higher again. The pound has been getting some strength. Overall, GU, pretty ugly. Not a massive fan of this. Again, be mentioning that EURUSD, NZDUSD have been the main picks. To be honest, it was kind of, in a way, a short position here that you could have potentially taken. I'm not sure. I think Jimmy took one here where we had an impulsive phase in towards the downside. We rejected into 0.5 fib. We swept the early sellers. We saw a strong push in towards the downside. And then on the 1 hour time frame, we created internal liquidity here. Though this trade was just obviously not in line with the dollar index. We also saw the monthly open here. It was not in line with the dollar index, and hence why I like trading with the dollar index, because then, yeah, what you sometimes just see is that GU will not listen to, let's say, logical technical analysis, because the dollar index simply has not yet swept liquidity, and GU moves in tandem or moves in line with EURUSD for around 85% of the time, 89% even maybe. So yeah, you kind of want to trade that in line together. Now, looking at GU, let's just wait for higher prices. I kind of have my high or my line or my eye set on this high over here. And from there, I would be in the future looking for a short position. But for now, it's not really something that I'm very interested in. We rejected this overall imbalance here. That's now pushed the market up higher. So yeah, this is now overall your low. And in the future, I would just be waiting for a clear order flow shift before getting into any shorts. Other than that, I'll just chill on this. Then we have AUDUSD, which has continued to push up higher. Obviously, the Australian dollar has been strong, as I've been telling you guys for quite some time. Also, I've told you in yesterday's video as well, swing structure is bullish, right? This is the impulse up. And then what do we do? Within the impulse, we take out the lowest low. Then again, here we left equal lows behind. We take those out as well. It's kind of like the dollar index at the moment with these equal lows. We take out the equal lows, and then we're literally at discount pricing. And then from there, V-shaped reversal up higher. Now for this, I'm still expecting further upside. Australian dollar is still relatively strong, and yeah, I expect this to push up higher still. As simple as that, though it is still a very, very messy pair and not personally my favorite. But we are in a way now breaking this 4-hour liquidity high. Why is this a liquidity high? Because if you look at pretty much the overall internal trend, this here was the impulse down, then we came for liquidity and we sold off. Then again, what did we have? We had the impulse down, and then what happened? We came for liquidity, and then we sold off. And then again, this is the impulse down, similar to EURUSD, though Aussie dollar has been pushing a little bit more aggressively. This is an internal liquidity high. So this could facilitate a pullback, but I'm very bullish still on the Australian dollar. So I'll be waiting for a breakout of the free monthly open, then the retest, and then we can look for a long. That is kind of like the higher probability long, which I would then only want to be taking, because for the rest, I find AUDUSD to be extremely, extremely rangy. And consolidative, and my focus is more set on an NZDUSD. NZDUSD has been pushing up higher yesterday. Looking at this, I don't really, again, need to say too much. I called longs on this as well for you guys. Remember, this here is the overall demand zone, and then what do we have? We have a swipe of the internal liquidity there. So that's a strong low that you then put in, and then this is a strong sell for a buy up. Then again, what do we have? We have the internal not to add text. We have the internal liquidity low set over here. We take that out, and then again we push up higher. There was also a 4-hour change of character that you can see, if I'm not mistaken, over here. So what happened, the 4-hour change of character took place where we broke above the monthly open. If you look at the 1-hour time frame, or on the 15-minute time frame, it was a little bit more clear. You can then clearly see here that we had a clear break in towards the upside after tapping into that 4-hour demand zone. And then what do we have? We have the bump in the road situated here. We take out the bump in the road, and from there, the market does what? It continues up higher. So again, I gave you the pieces of the puzzle, and all you needed to do was execute. As simple as that. And now what do we expect? We still expect higher prices from NZDUSD as New Zealand dollar is still bullish and the US dollar is still relatively weak. So I'm looking for further upside and more higher continuations on this, to head up higher. If it does retrace down lower, then also perfectly fine. Then we have a somewhat of ascending lows that we're starting to create here, and we still also have this low open. If we retrace to this lower low, then I'll just set a buy limit over here with my stop loss here, and then target a new higher high. But yeah, if you clearly look at the market structure here, we've shifted obviously from a bearish market into now a bullish market, where this is now your overall kind of like impulsive phase. Do keep in mind the very first break of structure that took place over here after a very long period of markets trending down is often more aggressive, meaning minor pullbacks. So this could already be enough, and just to call the next push up. And then in the future, what will happen is that here you have internal liquidity, and then we just look for new longs from there, and then this low will never be seen again. That is also perfectly fine and has happened in the past a lot on a pair like NZDUSD. That moves relatively impulsive. Going into USD CAD in itself being pushing down lower again, might come towards that 3 monthly open. Wouldn't be surprised if it does. And as I've been saying, relatively consolidative, so just not ideal at the moment. But as long as the low here is respected, because this is a very strong low that took out liquidity here to the left, we should still head up higher, but it's likely that the 3 monthly will get hit first. And then if you want higher probability trades, then after hitting that 3 monthly open level, wait for the daily change of character, and then you'll have a higher probability long again. Then if we go into USDJPY, it's been retracing again down lower from the monthly open. This is not a trade that I'm really looking to be in at the moment until we see somewhat of a more clear trend shift up higher again. Other than that, the internal order flow still remains bearish, and I wouldn't be surprised if this just heads down lower again. Not the biggest fan of trading yen pairs at the moment, as the yen seems to be gaining strength also from a fundamental perspective, where the Central Bank of Japan is talking about rate hikes, which is bullish for the currency. Then we have USD-CHF. This should also be heading down lower. Yes, talked about this as well with you guys. Also explained, remember, overall market being consolidating here in a range. We've come into the range high, which is the 75%, rejected that. Then on the 4-hour time frame, you have a clear order flow shift here, right? So boom, and then a boom down. Now look at the 1-hour time frame. Then here another breakdown, impulse in towards the downside. This is the bump in the road, and then from there we sell off again. Call this shit as well. Yeah. Then gold, last of all, for you, and gold still bullish on that, still expecting higher prices. Let it reaccumulate a bit. I wouldn't be sad if it heads down lower. I'm kind of looking for this low to head up higher again. If it does already pump up higher, then again we're just creating more internal liquidity. But yeah, still bullish on gold, and especially also with the new Federal Reserve chair being announced, or kind of like being proposed by Trump. That is very bearish for the dollar at the moment. And it is very bullish for gold. So this is currently being priced into the markets. Keep that in mind. It's not like now, okay, because this guy is going to be announced, let's say gold is now going to be trending upwards for the next, could obviously, but based on that, it's not like gold's going to be trending upwards forever and your USD down forever or up forever, because of the fact that the market is now pricing it in. So at the time that it's going to be announced, for example, then it's just going to be irrelevant because the market already priced it in. So looking for longs on gold again. Just waiting. Obviously, this is currently the swing. So you kind of like want to go long from the 0.5 fib, maybe this internal low. If it heads up higher again, also perfectly fine. Then what's happening? You're just creating more internal liquidity. So yeah, keep an eye on long gold. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Appreciate you all. And yeah, thanks so much. Thanks. Bye.